Hey everyone, this is Anthony Filice from cgartistdaily.com, and I'm here with a very exciting interview for you guys. I have Lee Carter with us here today. Lee Carter is a successful comic and concept artist working out at Bizarre Creations in Liverpool, and he's best known for his work on 2000D and Imagine FX. Lee's a very talented guy, so I'm really happy that he's here with us today doing this interview. So before we start with the interview, Lee, can you just let the people know at home exactly what it is that you do?
Yeah, I mean, drawing pictures really. As a kid, I didn't want a real job. I just wanted to draw monsters. So obviously I followed that direction in life, which luckily enough I've been lucky enough to continue that direction and still draw monsters, bad guys with machine guns. What I do generally is during the day I'm based in the office with Bizarre Creations, creating AAA titles for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. I do a lot of concept work at the initial stages of the project. And generally throughout the project you will be asked to do other things from 3D to helping out with textures, helping out with all sorts of different things that obviously comes into making.
So you've got quite a very
I
role.
think you have to be just purely because concept art is a very sort of small aspect of game development.
Right. So you've got a lot of vision as well.
Yeah, it's a sort of a lot of thing that goes on at the beginning of the project. You're sort of starting to worry if you've got to do concept art towards the end of the project.
Right.
But generally, you get your concepts sorted out, you get them signed off, and then it's the development from there on in.
Cool.
I am a bit of a, what's the word again? Masochist? Masochist.
There you go.
Okay. And what I do is when I get home, I've got a nap with the kids, and then it's back to the drawing board again, and then I'm doing bits of freelance illustration for the likes of Imagine FX, 2000AD, Games Workshop, Wizards of the Coast in the past. Several options, but obviously I try and keep my options limited because you take too much on. Going bald than they actually are.
So you're a very busy man anyway.
I am a very busy man.
Cool. So we're really glad that you're here today with us. So, you know, how did you become a concept artist? I mean, what did you know from an early age that that's what you wanted to do? I know you love drawing, but you know, is this a career that you envisioned for yourself in the future? How did you start off?
Oh, definitely, it's a sort of career aspect I considered. It's from the ages of 7. I'm from Hartlepool, so it was either factory work or something nasty like that. And so I thought, well, I'm good at drawing at school. This is the direction I want to go. I enjoy reading comics. And I've got to tell you the truth, from the early age it was comics that got me through to art college. Avoided trouble.
We all love comics.
Yeah, everyone likes comics. It's the simplest form of reading, isn't
exactly.
it? So, basically I do owe a lot to the comic world, introducing art to me. From an early age of picking up comic books and seeing the artwork. And for me, computer games is a natural progression from comics.
Right. So do you do a lot of comic work now?
I do, yeah. I mean, I'm doing a bit for 2000AD. I've just finished a series called Necrophone, which you have to be careful for because you type Lecard and Necrophone, it asks you if you mean Lecard and Necrophile.
Don't ask those questions.
But yeah, I've just finished one for 2000AD, and I'm actually currently working on the follow-up to that one for 2000AD.
That's awesome, man.
I've just completed a project, which is a very interesting project. 45 different artists.
All right.
Brilliant artists got on board as well, working for a company called Comex, which is a comic company stroke ad agency.
Okay.
Basically got 45 different artists to do 45 pages of a book. It's a new superhero book that's coming out.
Alright.
That's really
So
cool.
Is this a brand new IP?
It's a brand new IP. The writer's really talented. And
wow.
just the actual look of the book so far is looking really, really slick.
Cool,
so, I mean, even though I've only done one page in it, it's quite honoured to be in and picked amongst these artists.
So there's 45 artists in total?
Yeah,
wow.
So from around the world as well, and all top of the game artists, a lot of them as well. The likes of Jock, and I'm sure some of your listeners will know Jock's work from Vertical Comics, The Losers, and The Green Arrow, which I think is getting made into a movie.
Oh, cool.
But there's lots of cool artists on there, so
exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. So, how did you get into the games industry? Is that a natural progression that you wanted to go into, or is it something that you set out to do? You know,
as a kid, the games industry wasn't really an option purely because when we were kids, there wasn't that much form of art involved. It was Pong basically.
Course,
so I never really visualised myself as a games artist. I did a lot of looking into game design, as in board game design, crazy things like that, because the artwork you'd see on the board games was beautiful stuff, with all Dungeons and Dragons, etc. And so I was heading towards the sort of role-playing game areas, and
Right.
did a lot of stuff for a magazine called Arcane, the role-playing magazine, which is RPG and tabletop games, hence the Games Workshop stuff. And I think it was around '96 when the PlayStation was starting to get developed.
Okay.
I started picking up magazines and seeing concept artwork, and it sort of became a viable job option.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's a proper job.
A proper job.
Proper job.
Proper job for everyone.
No longer searching like magazines for dresses to send your work off. So it was a case of, there's a company, it's a 5-day-a-week job.
Excellent.
And you were drawing monsters for computer games. So it was a natural progression, and once I'd seen where the art was going, in the likes of Edge magazine, I think used to do a lot of concept art.
Do a lot of that.
I thought, well, I could do that type of thing. And a friend of mine was working for Sony. Again, he was wanting to be a comic artist, and he ended up working for Sony. After a few questions with him, I thought, well, that does seem like a very interesting.
Are you happy in the game industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very cool. I mean,
it's a pretty cool industry to be working in, to be honest with you.
It is very good. Free games.
Always free games. So cool. So, you know, who inspires you when you're working? What kind of art do you most aspire to be like, or you know, what inspires your work in terms of style and you know, just the artist's character?
I mean, again, I'm very sort of stuck on that comic route where a lot of my early inspirations were from the likes of 2018, Brian Ball and Mike McMahon, and then get American artists like Bill Sinkovich. Does a lot of fantastic stuff. And as it's gone on, you've got the likes of our college days when you had Dave McKean and people like that who were fantastic artists.
Do you have a broad spectrum?
That is
you haven't got one person that you're looking at all the time?
No, I think I tend to do when I come to work, I can take all these inspirations on board, but trying to mimic somebody else's style just wouldn't be me. Because I think any artist out there,
I think that's when you know that you've got your own style, is when you take, you know, various bits of other people's work, but not, you know, straight swaps, but you're just taking, you know, different inspirations from people's work, and you create your own from that. So it just becomes an inspiration rather than reference for your work.
It's like stuff that's in your head, like memories, if you know what I mean. It's not like you really don't want to try and mimic anybody, because that person's best at being that person, and the best you can do is being the best at being yourself, if you know what I mean. Stick to your style, find your style, obviously, whether it's CG, digital, sort of illustration, whatever. You need to find your voice, if you know what I mean.
That's it. I mean, it's creating. You know, as a very, I love this marketer. His name's Seth Godin, and he always says, you know, be the purple cow in your industry, and it's not reinventing the wheel, because all cows are the same, but you know, one's purple, so one's different out of very many similar sort of roles. So you know, what you're doing is you're actually taking you know, reference and inspiration from other artists, but you know, you're creating your own product, which is you know, is a fantastic thing.
I think it's very important if anybody wants something that's, they can find you, if you know what I mean. It's like your style, you become known by your style, and then people can have an idea, oh, we need that type of style. Who does that type of style? If you know what I mean.
So your style becomes more of a brand than a style. In essence. So when you see, you know, that it's Lee Carter's. I know when I see your work, you know, you maybe you don't even tell me which one is your work. I could tell which one it is just by your style.
Prime example, I've just showed some of the lads at work the 45 images.
Okay.
None of them have been chopped up into little inches, so you only actually see a tiny little bit of the image. And two of the lads spotted mine straight away. Yeah,
you've got a very distinct style. So I'll be posting some of Lee's work on cgartistdaily.com with this article, so you'll definitely be able to see some